Today I want to talk about Aerobic Insufficiency Syndrome, and I had to start off by saying that because when I did my past intro, I couldn't remember the phrase. So, my name is Frank Yost. I'm the CEO of Ketone Aid. We're going to be talking about ketone esters and different ketone products. And make sure you subscribe to the blog, to the video, to the channel, because you'll find content here that you won't find anywhere else. None of this regurgitated stuff that you see people repeating on hundreds of podcasts. This is where you will find unique stuff. Believe it or not believe it, but it will be stuff that you haven't heard anywhere else. So make sure to subscribe if you like anything. So this syndrome was just brought to my attention. I first heard about it. It's not a disease. It's a syndrome. It was first brought to my attention in a book that I read by Rich Roll, Finding Ultra. That was actually one of the books that inspired, one of the three main books that inspired me and my family to go vegan. And now I'm vegan and keto. So you can watch the vegan keto link. Let's see if I can make that work. Watch that video on vegan keto if you want to know, well, what the heck does he eat? That's the number one question. If you think people already ask you on keto, what do you eat? Imagine keto vegan. That just slices off 80% of what you can eat. So basically nuts and avocados. Anyhow, so I found out about this concept. It's a very interesting concept where Rich Roll wanted to increase his performance. And what he was told by his coaches was to slow down. And that concept was really difficult to understand initially. And what it has to do with is if the heart rate is too high while you're working out, then it's only barely surviving, doesn't have the ability to grow. So you have to be in this ideal zone. So you have to actually lower your speed. So you might be normally doing 7, 8, 9 minute miles. So you would go to 10, 11, 12 minute miles, practically walking, or if not walking for some people. And you would have to slow down your heart rate, slow down your performance. So you're in this heart rate zone so that your heart muscle can actually build. And then you can go back into these higher speeds while maintaining that sustainable heart rate zone so you can do ultra marathons. Fascinating concept. Well, I didn't know that there's Facebook groups with 6,000 members on them where they're all talking about this issue where they run and they have super high heart rates just for their regular run. One person in a marathon just runs at 190, which is, she thought was an amazing performance, but it ended up being that's actually a bad thing. It's not sustainable. It leads to injuries, problems, so you have to bring it back down, and she's taking it down so far that it's actually making her so she's having to walk all day just to build up her heart. So why am I bringing this up in ketones? Well, I don't know if the word is ironically or it just happens to be that the ketone ester, repeatedly people have noted a 7% lower heart rate. Okay, so I have no idea if this will help these people, but in theory, if your heart rate, if you're trying to keep it in a certain zone, let's say, I don't know the number, trying to keep it under 140, and suddenly, taking the ester allows you to be at 130 for the same effort, well, maybe you can increase your effort so that you go back to the 140, but then you're actually getting some speed in there. How does this work? The hearts prefer ketones. This was actually shown in a study 3 years ago, not with the ester, but they somehow were able to find that, I might be exaggerating through word of mouth or through multiple explanations that I've heard of this, but somehow it extracted ketones. Your heart during a heart attack would find ketones all the way down to your toes and just pull in and prefer ketones. So it sucks out all the ketones out of your entire system. Even if you're not a keto person, you might still have some ketones in your system, and the heart prefers ketones. There's also a perfused rat heart study that some people say that it's a 30% increase but then someone else explained to me that it was actually probably more like a 10% because of how you do the math. Regardless, the heart is more efficient on ketones. So with the ketone ester, your heart rate lowers. I don't know if this will be worse for the people, so ask your coach. If it lowers your heart rate, allowing you to go faster, is that biohacking the system in a good way, allowing you to get a higher performance? Or is this something that could be beneficial for you? So here's some examples. We have Daniel Holloway. He won National Crit Championship, and I'll try and post the video here. And I believe in this video we talk about how 1 year later he won the national championship, and he was doing the same, I don't know if it was the same course, but going up these hills towards the end, he was just walking past everyone. He was in a different gear than they were in, and he was using the esters. And then he had all of his heart rate. He won the race. He had all of his heart rate data, and it was 7% lower. We've had other people just report, oh, I just thought it was a coincidence. Other people looking down at their watch and thinking, huh, that's interesting. So it's a more efficient fuel source. The body can run on two fuels. It can run on glucose, which is what it traditionally is known to run on, and it can run on ketones. But most people don't experience ketones unless they do a ketogenic diet, or they do intermittent fasting and stuff like that. So try it out. Tell me if it works for your syndrome. Allows you to pick up the pace a little bit, so you're not so bored walking all the time. And it could be a huge difference if it gives you that 7% difference. And also, microdosing is an important thing. You don't need large quantities of this stuff. We're talking about 1/6 to 1/10 of a serving. So 10 mLs is what I would suggest you starting off with. And for some women that are sensitive to things, they can actually start as low as 5 mLs. Other tricks to lower price, you can actually play around with using it with niacin, but that'll be an entire other video if you want to find out about how niacin increases the absorption, so you can use less and save money. But most people just take $5 per outing. So thanks again. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and watch our other videos on ketone salts versus ketone ester, the difference. We've got papers on don't mix it with videos on don't mix it with MCT oil, and I'm going to be making one about sleep. Should you take ketone ester before sleep? Sounds crazy. You'll have to watch the video. All right, thanks.